Good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday, April the 24th, and on behalf of all of us at Charlotte Products, we'd certainly like to pass along our sincerest condolences to the families and the entire province of Nova Scotia. That's just a shame, and it's just unspeakable. So, anyway, our condolences certainly there. Good afternoon. We hope everybody's staying as safe as they can be. We'd like to thank you once again for joining us today. And also, if you're attending for the very first time, our registrations continue to climb, which is a positive sign. We really appreciate the opportunity to assist you in any way that we absolutely can. And it doesn't matter how simple or complicated you think it is. That's what we're here for. So reach out to us, and we'll certainly do our best to walk. There's lots of discussion. I'm sure you've heard it in the news or on the web that they're talking about lifting social distancing. Wuhan, China is loosening those restrictions, and they have new precautions in place. Which was interesting is when you enter a building, a public building, there's a staff member there making sure that you use hand sanitizer. They're making sure then they spray an actual sanitizer through a pump-up sprayer on your clothes and on your luggage and on your backpacks and lunch bags and suitcases and things like that. They also check your body temperature when you come in, of all employees and visitors. They've set up facial tissue stations in any elevators on a nice stand that when you go to press a button, you're not in contact with things, the button itself, and cross-contamination. And they've also even got the foot icons on the floor, so you can make sure that everybody stands there and practices social distancing. So that's some things that you may want to keep in mind for your own facilities, a couple of those ideas. And if, again, you need some help, let us know. The worry that I have personally is that, social distancing is obviously key, and washing your hands and things, but there really seems to still be a lack of advertising to really ensure that we're practicing the proper cleaning protocol, and we're actually disinfecting those high contact areas. And that's something that really, in my opinion, puts us at a risk for sure, and it could create a resurgence of and possibly prolong the recovery of this devastating virus. So always keep in mind, we've talked about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, making sure that you've got the proper cleaning protocol and you're disinfecting those high contact areas. Now there's talk of a second wave. The experts around the world are talking about this. That's a major concern. If we're not quite at the peak, from what I understand, in certain areas of the world, and we are flattening the curve in a lot of areas, but we're still not at the peak. And if we all of a sudden get another wave, and we haven't gone through the summer and done our social distancing and those things, it could be amplified tremendously. And it could be an H1N1 strain, it could be influenza, maybe possibly mutating and combining with coronavirus, and we may have a little bit of a serious situation on our hands. So just as a point of consideration, I would recommend a post-coronavirus protection strategy that you meet with your people in your facilities and say, well, what happens if that second wave comes? Raw materials, as you know, are in shortage. Packaging is in shortage. All of those things are there. And my recommendation is to certainly revisit that and start planning. And there's no such thing as having too much disinfectant in stock today, because they generally have a 3-year shelf life. That's frozen. They generally have a 3-year shelf life, so there's no issue there. So today, as promised, we said that we would go behind the scenes and tour our manufacturing facility. So we do have a video that we put together just the other day where it was very cold outside, and we started there, and thank goodness we got in the building fast. But we've got a 15-minute video to show you of the production facility itself, where Asquith and I went through, and really to give you a sneak peek, because we're very proud of that. Obviously, the weekly seminar series is going to continue. We want you to keep submitting your questions. We have a whole array again of questions, a lot of them, obviously very good questions, and we try to answer every one of them, and if not, we respond during the week there. So let's begin our session here today. Yes, please. And also we'll do the mic there.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Fleeler, Charlotte Products. With me today is Ask with Williams, also Charlotte Products, in charge of our production facility. As you know, weekly we've been conducting our coronavirus webinars to help people like yourselves and customers all around the world lower the risk of an outbreak. And today, as we promised last week, we said we would take you behind the scenes of the manufacturing facility. And before we do that, Asquith, there's a black wall back here. Can you take a couple of seconds and describe what that is, or explain what it is?
That's our solar wall, and it's basically for energy conservation. That helps us to conserve energy in terms of heating and cooling our facility. So we've got a constant temperature throughout the year. And of course, reducing our carbon footprint.
That's terrific. So the right thing to do for the planet. Yeah, okay, great. Anyway, follow us. We'll go inside now because it is cold. Well, welcome inside. It's a whole lot warmer inside than it is outside. It's hard to believe that it's that cold out there, actually, for the end of April. But we thought we'd start in here and ask at this, our display cabinet of some awards there. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, Jimmy, as you can see, this is just a small sampling of our awards that we've received over the years. Started from the ISSA, all the way to the Chamber of Commerce right here in Peterborough, Ontario.
Yeah.
So it's just little achievement awards, I would say.
Like a trophy case. Yeah, that's good. Well, these two here in particular, I know we're proudest. These are our most recent ones from the ISSA, 2 years in a row where we've been awarded it. And the one was for our innovation designing the concrete and terrazzo diamond polishing program. And then the second one, which we've talked about on a few of the other webinars, is our Optisolve digital imaging program there that really identifies those risk areas on all kinds of surfaces, making the invisible visible. So to get those awards is obviously very prestigious, and you and your team have to be extremely proud. I mean, Ballpex winning the President's Award, that's for supplying companies across Canada. All of these, several Chamber of Commerce, which is good to give back to the community and be involved there. So the list goes on and on and on, and you must be very proud of that.
Absolutely.
That's good. Well, let's, while we're on the topic about Charlotte, give us a brief history of Charlotte.
Well, we started out in 1986. We're basically called the performance formulators. We formulate from floor finishes, to concrete floor program, to wear wash, laundry, disinfectants, and many, many more. So, we do just about everything.
And all of those things, anything, it's pretty well safe to say, anything that a customer needs to clean, any type facility, whatever, we've got the goods to do it.
Right here.
Manufactured.
Right here in Peterborough.
Right here in Peterborough, and we service all of Canada, correct?
Absolutely.
Excellent. That's a little bit of information there. Let's carry on to the next stop.
I'll take you to the left.
Okay.
Come on, Jimmy, let me show you what happens before the name goes on.
Excellent. Happy to.
Come on in. Well, of course, here is where the rubber hits the road, more or less. Specifically, we do QC work here, and we do R&D work here. So, in fact, from the standpoint of R&D, the creation takes place here. We do all the freeze-thaw cycles as well. We test the product, high temperature stability. All those things are done here from an R&D standpoint. From a QC standpoint, the products themselves are tested after they come off the production line. They come here, they're tested to make sure that these products do meet the specifications that we set forth.
Excellent. So, retain samples. I heard something about retain samples.
We keep retain samples here for every single batch we produce, and we keep them here for at least 3 years. So, should a customer have an issue anywhere along the line, we can always go back to these retain samples and, in fact, do some analysis and do some comparative analysis to see what takes place.
Well, that's good. So all the science is right here. This is where it happens. Yeah, that's good. So everything that is manufactured, there's a quality control measure in place that checks and balances that before it gets released, it's done, and then again after finished goods. Well, that's just solid peace of mind, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, without question, there. That's good. So a couple of things there. I mean, you know, coronavirus being new and obviously a worldwide threat and a pandemic, has that taught Charlotte anything? Has that done anything for you at all as far as learning?
It taught us that we should always be prepared. Mm-hmm. You know, we were in December. We were sort of proactive, and we bought extra quarts because we knew we had an idea that, and we learned from SARS, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, disinfection will be a major issue, you know, this spring, and unfortunately, we were right. As a result of that, of course, we had to do some expansion in terms of employees. We had to do expansion in terms of capital investment, in terms of getting more capacity, in terms of mixing capacity. We also had to do some water. We had to get some, you know, greater volume of deionized water for disinfectants. So we had a whole bunch of stuff to do. New staff, as I said earlier. So it's one of those things, but it's fine. We're keeping up and doing well.
Yeah. So we hired lots of people from the local community, giving back there. Was it difficult to find them, or no?
We had to pick and choose, of course.
Yeah.
We wanted the very best employees, but we've got a really good, solid team. We're running 2 shifts, 10-hour days each shift. So we're running 20 hours a day. So we're really busy.
Excellent. Okay, well, why don't we go out to the formulation deck there and see where all the recipes happen. Okay. Asquith, this is the formulation deck, I guess, here that we just came out of the lab. Are we allowed to go in here?
Yes, put your safety glasses on.
Absolutely.
Come on with me.
Okay, great. Super. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Jimmy, here's where the rubber meets the road.
This is the rubber meets the road.
First of all, you know, we've got capacity here, you know, various size tanks, ranging from 1,000 liters all the way to 24,000 liters, mixing capacity. We've got a deionized water down in the back here, many holding tanks, and of course all these drums are here previously approved. You can see from the green tag that they've been previously approved, and you can see here who approved these products, what date they came in, what the lot number is, and we've got cradle to grave traceability here. So every single raw material here is tested, and we'll not use these products unless they've got a green tag.
And that's our checks and balances, correct? So we just don't take it for granted from the supplier that it is what it is there. We do our own testing because... Yeah, that's a smart thing, because if this wasn't what it was supposed to be, it would mess up a whole entire batch and maybe cause some serious issues there.
And that's something that we want to mitigate.
Oh, that's great. What other things have you done, I mean, with the coronavirus, what other things have you put in place to sort of help, you know, sort of lower the risk?
Well, what we've done, you know, you can see, if you look out here, you can see how much inventory we've brought in. A lot of new quartz, a lot of new raw material, packaging, whether it's bottles, cases, all those things. You know, you can see our deck, loading dock is really filled with packaging components.
Yeah.
You can see all our raw materials here. We've done a lot of that, bringing in a lot of materials because we don't want to be short.
That's a pretty full-looking warehouse that you have there. You know, it takes some orchestration to really to regulate that and get that in. So all of those things go into every one of the things that we do here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we can only make if one ingredient is missing from the batch, we just can't make that batch.
Yeah.
So we got to bring raw materials in, packaging components, caps, bottles, triggers, you name it. Over here, you can see, come with me, you'll see all the finished products here. And in order to prevent cross-contamination, we've got a washout cycle. We've got properly identifying each tank and what's in each tank so that we know to mitigate error.
Now, I don't smell any strong odors in here. Is there something in place that helps alleviate that?
We've got really good air circulation.
Yeah.
You can see our fans are moving. We've got an air exchange system in the building so that we keep not just our cells healthy, but the environment where the rest of our workers are.
Excellent. Yeah, another sort of question is, obviously there's a lot of liquids here, a lot of liter capacity. What happens if you have a leak? What happens there? You got checks and balances in place there?
Absolutely. We've got a system where the entire system is diked, and as a result of that, we can contain any spill. So we've got an upstairs dike on the mezzanine, and we've got one downstairs as well in the production area.
So the whole entire facility, you could have a whole rupture and you've got the checks and balances, it can be prevented from being released into the environment.
Yes.
Well, that's a responsible thing for sure there. So
we have to make sure that's in fact the case.
And is this the formulation deck that runs 20 hours a day, 6 days a week?
6 days a week.
Yeah. And producing...
Monday to Saturday.
Yeah, and is it fair to say hundreds of thousands of liters you produce, or...
Yes.
And a lot of disinfectants these days.
A lot of disinfectants these days. Hundreds of thousands of liters of product.
Excellent. I mean, one more shot of this for everybody at home and outside. We promised you a peek inside the facility. This is all raw materials here. All corrugate, all empty bottles. We'll show you that when we go downstairs. But I think the next step, can we actually go down to production, Asquith, and have a peek there?
Let's go downstairs. I'll show you what's happening downstairs.
Okay, I'm following you.
The products here have been labeled. You can see this is the code we spoke about.
Yeah.
The products are induction sealed for safety.
So that's just like a bottle of aspirin or pills or something, medication or something. Okay. So that's the traceability part.
That's the traceability.
Excellent.
That's what the customer would look for.
Yeah. And this is pretty amazing here. There's nobody actually having to try and stick labels on or anything. It's automatically done. Look at the whole entire line. Wow, there's a lot of bottles coming down there. Oh, there's the liquid gold.
Liquid gold.
That's the liquid gold right there. That one for sure. We ship these all across North America. So it could go by rail or it could go by truck or whatever. The road's bouncing, so that's just nice safety measures built in there for sure. But that seems to be coming off pretty fast. It looks like they're even checking caps, making sure that the quality's there. Yeah,
You're putting out 12 gallons every 30 seconds.
Wow. So fair to say that the product goes out, shipped to the trucks, and it's still warm.
It's still warm.
Yeah, that's good.
Just like bread. See here we've got lots of raw materials, packaging components. All this is for producing all our products here. So we got bottles, caps, triggers, all those things. You look down the aisle, you see lots of raw materials. The green tags we spoke about earlier, Jimmy. You can see them all here. You can see them here on these products as well.
And that's all of these things go into making the finished goods. All of these things, like bottles and liquids and boxes, and I mean, holy cow! Look at the height of the ceiling and stuff there, Asquith. I mean, that's amazing. And then, and have you got lots of boxes in and bottles in right now?
We got lots.
Okay.
We got lots.
That's good. For sure. Geez, our cameraman may get ran over by a forklift there. What he may do. I know we're definitely in their way. Oh, geez. Well, they're going at about 100 miles an hour. Is there a speed limit or something, Asquith?
Trucks.
Yeah.
You can see here we've got.
So what's this here?
Our customers, it's soap for our customers. You can see we've got a full truckload here, Jim.
Wow. That's all finished goods going out.
Goods going out.
Wow, geez, look at all of this. This is raw materials and finished goods going out? Yeah, okay. Well, that is amazing, eh? Yeah, there's more loading. some more happy. How long does it take them to load a truck, Oscar?
Well, the rate they're going about 10 minutes, Jimmy.
Really? Jeez. I guess it's important that you got the coronavirus. You want to get the products out as fast as you can to solve the problem. Okay, excellent. Well, Oscar, listen, thank you very much for showing us the behind the scenes today of Charlotte products. I think everybody on our weekly webinars, we've been saying we were going to do that, give them a sneak peek, and I'd like to thank you for that tour, and also everything that you and your team does here, because it's really critical in lowering the risk of an outbreak for sure. So I'd like to just extend a thank you for that for sure.
Okay. Well, thanks Jimmy, for all your help in doing all what you do for Charlotte Products, and I hope I hope you all enjoy what actually happened before the name goes on. Stay safe and keep washing those hands.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so hopefully you found that little video there informative for sure. We are very proud of our facility, and that's just a little bit of a sneak peek, so you had some idea of what it is we actually do there. As typical, I want to give you a supply chain update, in our learnings here, and Asquith covered a little bit of it here, but in January, actually December, with the formulation team decided a major investment in quats. As a matter of fact, it's the first time I actually heard the word coronavirus. It was in late December. And we were smart enough to actually bring in a major investment in quats. And that's one of the reasons why we can still continue to produce them for customers all across North America. The new deionized water system that is in place now allowed us to double production. In fact, more than that. DI water, for those that don't know, it's the purest water known to man and woman in the world. That's every single one of our disinfectants are formulated with that. So if you have contaminated water or hard water or any kind of contaminants in it, and you start adding quats and things, it starts to take away from the kill properties of that. So we start with the purest water known. So therefore we can extend the lifespan. We can give you a better, superior detergency overall, and a more consistent ppm count. And that's why we do it. We've stockpiled, as you've seen going through the warehouse, a lot of corrugate packaging, a lot of plastic containers, a lot of caps, a lot of trigger heads, a lot of labels, polymers. By the way, I think I spoke about it in one about a week ago. All of a sudden now, all of our colleges, universities, and school boards across North America are ordering floor finishes and sealers and scrub and reco products and deep stripping products. And we have a good, strong inventory of those. So we don't anticipate any kind of delays in that. So we're ready when you are. That's been one of the worries on education sector accounts. Trigger spray heads, they're extremely low level. So we've been talking about it for about 7 or 8 weeks now. Quite honestly, they're at the lowest levels we've ever seen. We've done some packaging changes where we're no longer putting the trigger sprayer on. We're actually putting it loose leaf in the case. We had to do that, and simply because we want to extend the availability to everybody across North America. So what we did for solutions, and I'll remind you of this, is we came out with our gallon or 3.78 liter refillable bottle of ES15. We've got 5 gallon or 18.9 liter ready to use pails. We've even gone into the drums, and totes are even available on request. So they're there. So that improves the chance to secure inventory for absolutely everybody. Make sure you're reusing your trigger bottles and sprayers because there's a major shortage, and there's nothing coming in any kind of amounts anytime soon. Pump up sprayers, we've talked about those before. These are in high demand. We still have a fair amount of inventory that are available that are there, but they'll be in short demand. That'll be one of the webinars we talk about in the next week or so. So, I mean, if you're looking for 3 or 4 or whatever, now's the time to place that order. So we've on last week's webinar, we talked about these shortages and some options for you. 4 options. We talked about using the trigger head and sprayer. We talked about using the flip caps on the container instead of the trigger head. We talked about using the sprayer itself, and then we also talked about using the charge bucket. So that's 4 options. If you're unclear of those, reach out to us and we'll be there to help you anytime. Okay. And the last thing I'll talk about is this is probably your best friend. No, you can flick the side. This is probably your best friend. This measures your parts per million in any disinfectant. It's required by law that you're continuously verifying that you're achieving that ppm count in a facility. So it's just litmus paper. It's also available for hydrogen peroxide and things too. This is not the same one as hydrogen peroxide, by the way. They're totally different. But you should be teaching your cleaning crews across every facility, every type, to use that to ensure the disinfectant does what it's supposed to do. So we're going to go to the question and answer portion of this, and we've got Ask With here as well. So I'll go to that. But for those that are unclear of what next week is we're going to talk about coronavirus and food safety. We're going to talk about safe food practices. People have been requesting that for several weeks. We just haven't had time to get to it. We'll also add in there any important topics that are based on the status of coronavirus threat. We encourage you to join us every single week. And as always, we're available to help you any way we possibly can. So it is next Friday. It's hard to believe that's May 1st. Already, I don't know where, this started in January and it's just been a blip on the radar, but it's May 1st. Hopefully we'll get some warmer weather. So Ask With, I think we'll just move to our Q&A section here. And some of these have come in on the screen here today. The IT director preps them for me, and also we'll take some live on the screen here. But so Ask With, a couple of things here. It sounds like you became aware of this in early December. So what steps did you do to prepare to make sure that we could supply companies with products?
Well, number one, we had to secure raw materials, because without raw materials, we cannot do anything. We had to secure raw materials, packaging components. We had to make sure that we had adequate supply of deionized water. So we had to change our capacity, change the actual piece of equipment that produces deionized water. Mm-hmm. Our flow rate was too low for the demand. We had to increase our demand significantly, which we did. We had to add more lines, more production lines, more employees, and extended our shifts.
So a whole array. So a major investment in DI water system, yes, which will serve us well for many years to come, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And then also I think you've adapted to the changes in registration from Health Canada, from the EPA, from the CDC, World Health Organization, DIN registrations. You've probably had your hands full trying to keep up with that as well.
And make sure that all our finished goods were on these emerging pathogen lists. So we had to do a lot of that.
Yeah, I've heard
regulatory stuff. Yes,
I've heard some of the commotion here and there, and we respect what all of your scientists and chemists do behind the scenes for us, because it's critical. And we've had some they changed some rules here and there and whatever, and looking for more criteria, and obviously we've come up with it with the majority of our disinfectants there. So yes. Just to remind you of our number one goal, it's really about assisting employees and customers with lowering the risk of an outbreak. That's been our major goal and intent of these webinar series, is to help anybody of any level, any type of knowledge of the cleaning industry or any type of facility type, to help you lower the risk. And whether it's at work or whether it's at home, and you remember I've always said this, the virus will travel from home to work and from work back home. So it's best to obviously be safe and make sure your families are safe there. Ask With, you mentioned about food safety soon. We've been talking about it. I take this very seriously, as I have a family of 5. Is this something you could add to your webinars? I think I just answered that.
Yes, you just answered that question. And you said we'll do this next week, so
Yeah.
we'll look at that for next week.
Yeah, and we're going to do a little tabletop demo for you next week, where you bring in a bag of groceries, and we'll teach you the safest way that you can take them out of the bag and put them away in your cupboards and fridges, and make sure that you're as safe as you can be there. So, because we have that whole line of products that can help you in a residential situation, or obviously in commercial for sure. The pictures of the warehouse facility looked big. Thank you for sharing. It was very informative. Will you be able to supply the industry, particularly hospitals, with disinfectants for the foreseeable future?
Well, we're hoping we can. We are trying all our best. I mean, a lot of raw materials are on allocation, but we basically producing a lot of ready-to-use products, and with those ready-to-use products, we can have a better spread right across the country. So we're doing a lot more ready-to-use products.
So the ready-to-use,
Like,
this would be an example.
That's a good example.
Ready-to-use there.
That's a very good example.
This has been an unbelievable seller. It's probably been our #1 seller overall.
Yes.
And I think probably one of the reasons, is it fair to say, that it's ready to use, so there's no worry about having
no dilution,
things like
ready
that.
to use.
Yeah,
It's on the emergent viral pathogen list.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic product.
Yeah, and it works really well. I know I have
Yes.
a couple of bottles myself at home, as a matter of fact. So I actually like it, without question.
Yes,
There.
it's a great product.
So that's good. So, product testing. What do you test before releasing products to your customers? What types of things?
Well, it depends on the product. In this case, we want to ensure that the active ingredient, which is a series of quarts, meet the guidelines set forth by Health Canada and the EPA. So we ensure that's critical. We do things like the pH, the specific gravity, and we look at other specifications that identifies that particular product. And then we produce a certificate of analysis with every shipment.
So can we say also that every single batch, before it's released in those big containers, they do all their testing in the lab before, so somebody officially signs off before it goes to packaging?
Yes, we have
every batch.
We have every single batch. Yeah. We have 2 people sign off.
Oh, 2.
Not just the chemist, but someone else in the lab signs off to make sure that everything is absolutely correct.
Yeah. Do you ever catch any mistakes? I'll just throw you on the spot. That's not a question from a customer here.
We try to mitigate mistakes.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Does Charlotte sell direct to the general public, and do you conduct tours from time to time?
Well, we do 1 or 2 tours from time to time. And, to the general public, no, we don't sell. We sell directly to distributors.
Yeah, so all of our distributors through North America, we have a long-standing relation, very loyal distributors from coast to coast across there. And that's good. So we have lots of, and if you're looking for our distributor list or who you should contact in your local area, by all means, just reach out to us there at charlotteproducts.com. How many products do you make, and do you ship them across North America, overseas, or just Canada?
Oh, we ship products all across Canada and Europe and the Far East. It's incredible. We've got customers across, even in the Caribbean. We've got customers.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So that's a good question from a customer.
Yep. Very good question.
What quality control measures do you have in place to ensure that the products are as advertised? I think that's a duplicate.
Well, that's a duplicate question, but to emphasize the fact that we do make sure that all products meets our specifications.
Yeah. Okay. Mary's, I'll just go to the screen here. There's a couple of these are flying in like crazy here. Is the ready to use ES15? Yes, it is. It's right in my hand here.
Yes.
It comes in this 946 mil or a quart if it's in the US, or also in a 3.78 liter in Canada, or a gallon container in the US, and also 5-gallon pails or drums as well. So that definitely is ready to use. So I'm just trying to read a couple here. Oh, here's a couple of thank yous. Keep up the great work. Thank you for saying that, for sure, without question. So let's go here. How many different disinfectants do you manufacture? Will you introduce more in the future?
Oh, well, more than likely we would introduce a few. We manufacture a lot of different disinfectants, probably too numerous to mention. I would say easily off the top, we manufacture well over 20 different formulations of disinfectants.
And do you need 20?
Ah,
That's just the salespeople.
that's
need
the
20.
salespeople. The salespeople need
That would be
20,
me.
so-
Well, why have one when you can have 20? But all our disinfectants serve a different role, though.
Different role.
Yeah.
Different role. We've got neutral quartz. We've got quartz with high alkalinity. We've got different disinfectants at hydrogen peroxide base. It all depends on the customer and where the need is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Here's one impressive facility. Thank you for sharing it with us. Does the city monitor your effluent water on a regular basis, and what types of things do they test for to ensure there's no impact on our overall sewage system or streams?
Oh yes. Well, the city does check our effluent. They do check BODs. They check total solids. They check the amount of particulate matter, zinc. They look for phosphate levels. They do a lot of.
So we make sure we make
Yes.
sure we comply. And how often do they test it? Just show up?
No, it's a continuum. Yes, there's a sample on the outside of the building, and it's samples the water every single day.
Really?
Every single day.
Well, that's as I always say,
Yes.
that's a good thing, and that's responsible for
Yes,
sure there. So
yes.
a couple more questions. I'm just checking the time here. We've probably got about 2 more minutes here. I guess we've talked about sustainability. It says here, does Charlotte focus on sustainability? What types of programs? You've talked about rinsing and washing the tanks.
Yes.
You've talked about reducing energy, the solar wall out back. And on the video, we couldn't show you the whole side of the building because we would have had to walk around behind some big trees, and it was ice cold out there that day, but that goes the whole width of the building, which is hundreds of feet. And that actually brings in the sun heats that and then brings in warm air and cool air, vice versa.
Yes.
Yes. That's good. And I think that's been in place for a while.
At least 15 years.
Yeah, and some of the tanks here, the tanks that you've seen on the formulation deck, they actually go through the floor on cells right down to the bottom. So those tanks are gravity feed, so they don't require pumps that consume electricity and things. Are gravity fed. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Yeah, good. So there's a lot of good things there. Can you share with us any new products or technology that you're working on? Sure,
That's confidential, Jimmy.
Sure, you can't divulge that.
That's confidential.
Somebody's sneaking up there asking that question. Planning ahead if you need to expand and increase the size of the building or expand in any way. Do you have the room on the property?
Yes, we do. I think we've got room for another 30,000 square feet.
Another 30,000. Well, that's good. So people on the newscast actually need to order more in order to get that going. Okay. And I think we got one more time for a question here. Oh, I've got, actually, there's all kinds of questions coming in here that we can't get to here fast enough. Actually, Mary's asking me if I can read the questions on the chat. I will try to get to them actually next week. I'll guarantee you that I do that. There's just hundreds of questions that we have here. And what product should I use as a general kitchen counter disinfectant?
Well, you have one right in your hand.
This one right here?
Absolutely.
Does this do everything?
It does everything. It does everything.
Okay, and so we can disinfect our counter surfaces and stuff, and then
Yes,
we would do a potable water rinse on a food surface. Cutting
food
boards.
contact surface. I would recommend potable water rinse.
Okay, so there's an answer for you there. Definitely use this, but you have to do a potable water rinse if it's on a cutting board or a counter where you're slicing and dicing food or vegetables or making sandwiches and things like that.
One important thing though, make sure the dwell time is.
Ron's got a question here. It says, "What's the dwell time?" And that's
yes,
that's timely. It's 5 minutes. Okay, it's very very rare in the industry with quat-based disinfectants. They're usually 10. This one's 5, and it also has a norovirus kill claim in
Correct.
5 minutes as well there. So can the ready-to-use come with spouts instead of spray heads? We don't produce it out of the factory with spouts, and this is basically what the spout looks like here. It's a flip cap spout. You can buy them separate. Our distributors all across North America have them available. If you don't know where to find them, contact charlotteproducts.com and we'll be able to aim you in the right direction there and give you spouts. And we talked about it last week where you could take that and spray it on a microfiber cloth and actually get more material there.
Yes.
So it would help you achieve that 5-minute dwell time there. So good questions there. I know it's 1:40 and we try to always stay on there. So we're going to sort of end it with that. But thank you very much for your time in joining us this week. It's our pleasure to be able to give you a little bit of education there that helps you out. Next Friday is May 1st, which I can't believe it's May already. I've said that at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are going to talk about food safety. So we'll, maybe we can get some actual food in here, maybe that we can eat at the time or whatever there. So anyway, as usual, Aspa, thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to show us through your manufacturing facility. It's an amazing facility that produces thousands and thousands and thousands of liters, and I know we're all proud and homegrown right in Peterborough, Ontario, servicing North America. So that's really cool.
You're very welcome,
really
Jimmy.
there, so
always nice to be in your corner.
Yeah, and your sign off is wash your hands, right?
Wash your hands.
Definitely. Okay. Safe week, and practice your social distancing. And to those in Nova Scotia, again, our condolences there. And we look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.